Hello, hello everyone. I am so excited to be at Pine Bush High School today. This is one of those evolutionary high schools, one of the best in the country, if not the best when it comes to the engineering and manufacturing side of things. You will not believe the world you're getting ready to step into, but you have to come with me. We're going to introduce you to the principal, some of the teachers, and all the different departments that go into Pine Bush. So come along, let's talk a little bit more about this Gene Haas Innovation Center that they've created here, one of its kind. Here we have my friend Aaron. Aaron, say hi to the audience.
Hello, how are you everybody? Nice to see you, Tony, at Pine Bush High School.
Yes, sir. So let's invite the cameras on in and let's get started talking about the story. We're talking a year and a half when this whole Gene Haas situation was implemented, but you yourself have been here for 22 years, right?
I have been. I've been the principal here for 18 of those 22 years. In fact, as you said earlier, Tony, we're very lucky. We became the first high school in this country to receive a $250,000 grant from Gene Haas in terms of naming rights. We now became the first ever high school in the country with the Pine Bush High School Gene Haas Innovation Center. And it allowed us to double the square footage of our STEAM footprint, allowing us to serve upwards of 300 students in our STEAM program.
300 students, and I believe out of 1,800 total students. What a fantastic percentage of kids that want to be a part of it.
It is. It's an awesome opportunity. Our program is entirely authentic. It's all curriculum driven by our teachers and our instructors. And kids have these experiences that allow them to be college and career ready when they leave this high school.
So we're standing in an office space right now, and I see pictures everywhere. I see 3D art. I see an American flag, a lot of pieces that you're part of, 3D printers even. This is kind of where it started, right?
It is. This was actually, when we first started our STEAM program about 8 years ago, this was our engineering classroom. In fact, what you would see in this room when you came in back then were basically tables on either side of the room. You had desktops where the kids would be able to run AutoCAD and the Autodesk suite. And ultimately, because of the success of that program and some of the authentic projects we started, it allowed us to literally become where we are today. So this is where it all started 8 years ago.
Well, I've heard you say STEAM, and let's explain to the audience watching right now, when we say STEAM, what is that an acronym for?
It stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Mathematics. And one of the things, like I said, when you really apply those subjects together, one of the things that makes truly our program special is that it's not just a canned program. We are not just teaching kids in the basement. We're not hiding our kids. These are kids from across the whole high school spectrum here, from the valedictorian to our most at-risk kids who are taking these programs. It's awesome to be able to apply the knowledge and see how it really works in real-life applications.
So let's go take a look at some real-life applications. Go from floor to floor, center to center. Yeah. Now we're standing in a hallway, and I think this might be some of your prized possessions. I see some great stories all around. Are there any one or two that you'd like to pick out and kind of talk about?
Yeah, let me tell you kind of where it started, actually. In fact, if you look here, we had a community member reached out to us I'm going to say like 8 years ago, wanted us to make 2 custom horse sulkies. His goal was to reinvent harness racing, almost make it similar to NASCAR, so they could have sponsorships on the body. So he requested of us to make a Corvette and a Ford GT. So what you see here in this image right now are those 2 finished products. One thing you don't see is that these actually had iPads in them as well as custom rims made. These horse sulkies have made it on a world tour around this whole world. They've been in Italy, they've been in Greece. In fact, the customer actually asked us to do new ones recently. One of the other things that we've done, which is pretty awesome, we've set 2 land speed records on the bottom of soft flats with a motorcycle that was pretty much destroyed, broken down. It gave us an initial partnership with Polaris University. And then, as you see here, Kenny Marshall, one of our STEAM instructor, his dog, her name is Fancy, tore her ACL. Our students used a Farrow arm to shoot a point cloud. They measured all the different joints. They did research on the ACL and ultimately 3D printed the first ever dog brace. We're not allowing that dog to have surgery. Healed actually on its own. So it was an awesome opportunity for our kids.
As we walk our way to the next part of the facility.
Yeah, we're gonna head in here, guys.
All right.
We're gonna walk into our design lab. One of the greatest things, but like I said, the high school is ultimately the equipment we have. We don't buy anything that's not gonna be utilized by our students. So what you see right here, obviously, is a large format printer. The kids actually have to learn to read blueprints and things of that nature. This is our design lab that we're about to walk into right here. So one of the things in the high school, one of our initial courses for incoming 9th graders, it was called Drawing and Design for Production. The students actually come in here. They actually work on the Fusion suite, the Autodesk suite as well. They'll obviously learn first semester is hand drawing, second semester is all computerized drawing, and again, next school year, which for us begins in about 3.5 weeks. We will have our largest incoming number of classes in terms of 9th graders taking DDP. We'll have 5, over 150 students taking this class next year.
Well, speaking of people being excited, you mentioned the growth of this class is exceptional, but you actually have 240 kids here right now that chose to be a part of the program during summer school, which is why we're filming right now.
It is. It's pretty exciting. You know, for the last 20 years, and I've been here, as you said, 22 years, we've been using this summer as an opportunity to provide enrichment for students in different career academies. This summer, we had 240 students who chose to come to summer school for enrichment. As right now, we have 80 students who are currently here because they failed some sort of class. Very different to say, I chose to come to summer school, which sets me apart from everybody else, not only in this state, but in this country. And I think that's one of the great exciting things about our program as well.
Yeah, as we continue to walk around, you're going to see why people are inspired to be here, even on their own personal time. But before we get to that part, can we get one of our cameramen to zoom in on this? Now, when I was a kid, this used to be popsicle sticks. And we don't normally do this, but it's actually something else for one of my camera guys. So I'm going to walk over to my camera guy and say, what did you use when you were building this when you were in school?
In my middle school, we used to use Bridge Builder. You could select different materials, and you would try to build the most efficient bridge that could hold the highest weight, and we would host a competition every year.
Well, this is much better than Bridge Builder and popsicle sticks, but I think you got me built with Bridge Builder, beat with Bridge Builder.
It is. It's exciting. This is, part of the architecture class. They use the program Revit to, complete these programs and complete these models. And again, it's exciting for kids actually to not only put their projects into place, but see the fruitions of their hard work.
Well, let's go take a look at some of the other classrooms, Aaron or Hop. But in the meantime, while we take this tour, can we talk about some of the multiple partnerships you have created here? I mean, you are one of the more inspirational principals that I have ever talked to, spent time with. I really like to convey these messages because it wasn't just you saying, hey, I want something. You've really dedicated yourself to creating this huge facility for these 300-plus students.
It is. We're very lucky. One of the greatest things we have is those industry partnerships that you referred to, Tony. Whether it be Allendale Machinery, HAAS Factory Outlet, HAAS Automation, Pratt Whitney, Lloyd's Workz, you take your pick. Polaris. One of the things that we've realized is that as educators, we can't do this by ourselves. We really need support from industry partners, not only to develop our curriculum, but to make sure that what our kids are leaving here are the skills required for them to be successful when they go out into the workforce, or go to college, or choose whatever it is that they want to do for their future. But again, it all happens because of those partnerships. When you get people from industry partners to come in and speak to our kids, they realize the application side of it. It's not just this far off dream about becoming an engineer or becoming an advanced manufacturing technician or machinist. So I think having those partnerships really allows our kids to have an experience and set them above the rest. In addition, when they go out to get a job, you know what? They're not going to be stuck, not knowing where these companies are or who they are, having a contact. So when you walk in here now, this is actually our design lab. You see, obviously, in here, we also teach our STEM class. One of the things, like I said, the great is these kids are exposed to a lot of different equipment here in the high school. And again, the experiences they have, the courses we create, they're designed to keep kids engaged, to keep them excited about learning, and to be able to apply that knowledge. One of the things I will tell you that makes our program different is it's truly cross-curricular. We're not just stopping teaching technology. We're teaching technology to how it applies in science, how it applies in math, English, social studies. So the kids were going to use this equipment down here, and they're going to use the knowledge that they gain to produce musical sets, to produce a globe theater in English, to produce manipulatives for science, to produce manipulatives for math and geometry and shapes and things of that nature. So it allows the kids to really apply their knowledge in terms of so they can see how it works in the real world. And ultimately, I hate to say it, but the way we learned when we were younger, kids don't learn that way anymore. You got to make it exciting. It's got to be connected to them. And if you don't connect it to them, they're not going to be interested in learning. So.
Well, I don't know if you guys have the same chills that I have when we listen to Hop talk, but I used to think I was a bad student. Had I gone here, I might have been considered a good student because I was so hands-on, but everything was 2D on a board when I was growing up.
And that's the way it was. And if you didn't listen to the teacher who lectured at you for an hour and a half, and you just didn't find a way to learn it, that was on you. You know what? That's not the way it works anymore. It's on the teacher right now to find ways to engage all of our students, not just those ones who can learn by lecture.
Well, let me just say thank you for doing that. Thank you on camera for doing that while we're recording. Are we going into the machine shop next?
Let's go, sir, yeah.
So one of my favorite areas, but as we move into the machine shop, let's talk a little bit about your dedication to your students, because I know that you feel empowered by that. You feel like I need to prepare my teachers, which prepare my students, which give the students an opportunity. And you actually have students that are getting hired right out of high school for very significant jobs, don't you?
We do. One of the greatest things about this program, and again, like I said, I get value in honestly seeing our students happy, seeing them they're prepared for life, and actually when they leave here, that they can find success, whether we're going to college, whether they're going to workforce, go to the military. So when you talk about that, obviously when you walk into here, our machine shop, we are the only high school right now in the country able to offer the HAAS certification credential. So our students are leaving here with an industry credential, allowing them to get hired immediately, and many machine shops around the country. In addition, we have students right now, and we just started our first senior job fair last year, who left here, got hired out at Pratt Whitney, hired at Hopmayer Aerospace, hired at Allendale Machinery Systems. So again, what we're realizing is our kids are marketable. In fact, I will tell you, and being the only principal right now around who took the HAAS certification, I'm going to tell you, number one, there's a real reason why it's called skilled labor. All right, it's not just you come in and you push a button. This is legit teaching. This is legit learning. And you know what? These kids, when they leave here with that credential, they know they did something special.
I just want to re-emphasize for the audience, because Aaron talks pretty quickly, but I grasp it. You probably did as well, but it's important to say again, the only high school in the country that has those credentials through Gene Haas. The only one, right?
That we're offering, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But hopefully in the future, not the only one. We want this to inspire you to apply this at your high schools. All the principals out there, all the teachers out there, share this with your families, your friends, your society, your community. How significant have you found this program to be here in your local community?
You know what? As you saw when you drove in, Tony, we have a very interesting community. We're split in half. We have a bedroom community that reports to New York City for work, most people. And then we also have a rather farming, rural side on this side of the district. So industry and machining really isn't necessarily prevalent in our area, in our footprint. But yet, you know what? Our kids are willing to buy into it, our community's bought into it, and the district bought into it, and obviously our industry partners have bought into it. And our kids are getting jobs. So at the end of the day, 80% of our kids who graduate this high school, which by the way is ranked in the U.S. News and World Report Top 2000, are going to college. So you know what? It's incumbent upon us to serve all of our students, not just those that are interested in going to college right away.
So let me take a moment while we're also taking this tour of the machine shop to give a very special thanks to Gene Haas and Kathy Lumen. You're both amazing with what you do, being able to offer $250,000, as you mentioned, plus these machines. How many 3D printers do you have here as well?
We do. We have 41 3D printers in the high school. We offer classes obviously related to 3D printing, additive manufacturing. But I want to piggyback on what you said. Being the first high school in the country to receive a $250,000 naming rights grant by Gene Haas, and working with someone like Kathy Lumen for, like I said, a long time now, they truly buy into what's good for kids, which is ultimately my philosophy. And again, that's why we're here. We make decisions that are good for kids. Advanced manufacturing is good for kids.
I love that you said that. Way to reiterate that. So we also still have math. We have a woodworking facility. We have robotics lab as well, don't we? You want to walk and talk while we do?
Let's do it.
As we're walking and talking, what is this all about?
You know what? I'm glad you pointed this out, Tony, because as far as I'm concerned, this is one of our authentic projects. The district said, Hop, listen, you know what? This golf cart needs some work. We're going to get rid of it. We're going to throw it out. Do you want it? And I'm like, you know damn well I want it. So one of the things our kids did was we made this into an authentic project. They put custom rims on it, a dashboard, a sweet stereo system, because you know what? When we were a kid, you got to have a cool stereo system, especially being a young man or young lady. We put a bench seat in this bad boy. And what's awesome, even really cool, if you look behind it here, all right, you will actually see one of the old school kickers. A real bass kicker. So when we drive around or I go to my cabinet meetings, all right, I'm able to thump some music. I come in here and it feels pretty damn impressive knowing that the students designed this golf cart.
So you know what's immediately going through my head when you show me the speaker, right? I got to look at the camera to do this. So they see me rolling. So let's go on into the next room, my friend. Let's keep on with this tour.
Tony, this is our where we teach AP Computer Science principles. We also teach geometry and the actual. One of the things earlier, and you're going to speak to Mr. Ciarelli, our math department chair. He has found a way, and our math department has found a way as an entity to make kids learning about math. And I got to tell you, as someone who was not necessarily a tremendously math-oriented person, learning this way would have made it very easy for me, as opposed to the way it was when I went to school. So I think teachers finding ways of engaging kids by using manipulatives, 3D printing documents, manipulatives, using a laser cutter. I think it makes it very easy now for kids to see how the application of geometry applies to the real world aspects. You always hear kids say that. How can I ever use this in the real world?
And don't worry, guys, we are going to deep dive into each one of these rooms in a bit. But we're just giving a quick overview. So when we talk about math, when we talk about woodwork, when we talk about the machine shop, stay tuned for those other videos as well, because they will be coming to deep dive a little bit further. Aaron, let's go on to the next facility.
Yes, sir.
As we're in this room, let's go ahead and turn ourselves so the world can see what we have behind us and let the camera guys kind of
showcase
see what we
that
got as
here.
well, because there's a lot going on in here. Look at all these computers.
Yeah, like I said, what you see here, this is our AutoCAD room. We also teach art and fabrication. We obviously, one of the greatest things in here is that we have a pretty small ratio between additive manufacturing 3D printers per student. It's almost a 1-to-2 ratio. One 3D printer for every 2 students to have access to. As we said in the high school, we got 41 3D printers. With the opportunity, again, when kids can't use these settings because, you know, the classrooms are busy with all the different classes we got going, we have a maker space in our library. So kids can actually go upstairs, use a laser cutter, 3D print on their own, and take care and make their own designs on AutoCAD and actually print it out. One of the greatest things about 3D printing is when you design it, it's your own. It's the first of its kind. It's the only one of its kind. So giving the kids those opportunities, again, it's exciting.
Well, let's head on over to the woodworking shop. I know we want everyone to stay tuned for this long video. I think you've been excited enough. Nobody's going to tune out. This might be the longest watched video of all the videos we've done, Aaron.
Well, listen, you know what? It's my job to bring some energy, Tony, just like you.
Well, you are the man when it comes to that. As we're walking into the next area, Aaron, can you again kind of reiterate, this has been a long time coming. And obviously, I wanted to be here because you inspired me to be here as well. We met talking with the Allendale guys at a HAAS demo day.
At Hudson Valley, yep.
But we knew that we had to do this because what you did inspired me so much that I knew this message needed to be broadcasted to a global audience. Now, we're going to focus domestically and hope that we can create a ripple effect. But I'd like to just one more time this has been a long time. What does it mean to know that you've created something like this for the next generation of people coming into this world?
I appreciate, Tony, how you said that, but the reality is this is my job to support teachers. Teachers are where the teaching and learning happens. So it's my teachers who have made this happen. And my job is to make sure that they have the ability to make it, that they have the support needed to create the materials and to create the programs that they want to do. But in terms of, like reality, in the last 6 years, we've done 300 industry and school tours of our STEAM program. So we're very much recognizing the fact that we have a model program, and we want to make sure that everyone knows good teachers steal. All right? Let's understand that. I don't care. There's nobody taking the credit. We don't care who takes the credit. We want to do what's good for kids, all kids. And that's how it works here in Pine Bush.
Oh, Hop, I love when I get those kind of answers. And what's interesting is, when I ask a certain question and that question doesn't 100% need to be the answer that's given, and you kind of refocus that question and give the answer that matters more, as in, it's not just me, it's about our team. I find that even more invigorating to the conversation to go, well, thank you for correcting my question because it is about everyone, and I love that humbleness about you.
Well, that's the reality here. Listen, it's my job to support teachers. As the building principal, I'm here to obviously create programs that are good for kids, but at the end of the day, you know what? Teaching and learning happens in those classrooms, and our teachers are exciting. They come up with great programs. They come up with great projects. And I got to be honest with you, it fires me up. And I know, Tony, you got the same level of energy. So as far as I'm concerned, I know if you're seeing it, it gets me more excited as well. So this is our wood shop. This is our, obviously, we teach traditional wood shop as well, But again, with the age of computers and how, with all of our CNC equipment, we have our own CNC wood router. Our kids are having tremendous experiences in here as well. The projects they make, they're authentic. They're really awesome. And it's going to lead way to where we're going in the future. We're actually going to have a full running machine shop in this district where we actually go out and we actually are, doing one-off products for our community members. But we're also going to be selling things for our staff and our families and our gifts. And, to me, it's a great opportunity for kids to really demonstrate how they apply that knowledge.
I like that a lot. A quick tip, quick bit of information as we walk into the robotics lab is I worked in woodworking for several years, actually, creating custom cabinetry, kitchens, bathrooms, all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm quite familiar with this aspect of it, even though I kind of flunked out of it in high school.
Well, again, you know what? We're well past those days of building birdhouses and making ashtrays. You know what I'm saying? I remember those days in tech in high school. As far as you can see here, these kids are doing high-end stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're making custom cabinets, whether they're making, they're refurbishing old, wood, they're to kind of make cool things out of it. But again, it's about creating authentic projects, and that's where the teacher's creativity is so important. And like I said, it's all about good teachers making good things happen for kids.
Yeah, spot on. I had a bandsaw and a sander. I didn't have a router in my school.
You know what? Even having a sander back then, it was like old school hand paper, and you were rocking and rolling.
Just shave some fingernails and some fingerprints at that point in my career. So we're in robotics now, right?
We are. This is our robotics classroom. We started off running VEX Robotics. Now we're into what's called FIRST Robotics, which is basically varsity robotics. We're the only high school in the county running varsity robotics, FIRST Robotics. And ultimately, like I said, these kids are programming, they're coding, They're using the mill, the lathes, the laser cutter, 3D printers. We're able to produce our own parts for First Robotics, which makes it very different. So like I said, these kids are competing in competitions. They got to do marketing. They got to do building. They got to do coding. So again, it's really a whole opportunity here to take all the skills that they've learned and apply it in a much more rigorous setting, competitive setting.
Well, Hop, in my opinion, one of my favorite tours I have ever given to the global audience. For everyone watching, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I hope you can tell how much we enjoy sharing this as well. This is Pine Bush High School in New York. This is my buddy Aaron Hopper. Oh my gosh, what a story. Thank you so much for taking the time.
My pleasure, Tony. It's been absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be more appreciative of you taking the time to showcase our programs.